Hello and welcome to Creative Insights. We're coming to you live from Turnhouse, our UHI North Western Hebrides Allness campus, and we have a live studio audience. Say hello. Well, thank you. Creative Insights aims to dive under the surface of a range of creative works and discover the artist's inspiration. And in this series, we're speaking to a range of creatives from across the Highlands and Islands. And I'm delighted to introduce Lizzie McDougall, an artist and storyteller fascinated by the traditional Highland stories and how they inspire us. She's gathered stories that have been shared by generations about nature, history and fairies, which strengthen connections to Highland culture, nature and the environment. Lizzie grew up in Edinburgh, where as a child she loved to listen to Highland stories. She was inspired by the tales heard from Mary Dunlop, the barrel organ lady, and Compton Mackenzie. And she moved to the Highlands and started Moving Arts, which has run many festivals and arts projects. She has a degree in cultural studies from the Highlands and Islands, and we're delighted to have her with us today. Welcome, Lizzie.
Oh, well, thank you very much, and it's lovely to be here.
Great. We talked before you arrived, and we talked about maybe you thinking about, I guess, the story of your progression as an artist and storyteller. So would you like to tell us, I guess, where it began, that inspiration, and where things began for you?
Well, in a way, I suppose they began as a child. I was, as you were saying, I was a child. I grew up in Edinburgh, and I was very lucky to encounter two people in particular who spent a lot of time in the Highlands and would come back to Edinburgh and tell stories. And I wasn't very good at reading when I was a child, so anybody who told a story, I was just wanting to hear their stories. And so I listened to stories, and I listened out for stories. So that's really the start of it. But through the years, as you were saying there, I was working, creating projects to showcase the arts here in the Highlands. And through that process, I ran quite a lot of festivals and events. And ultimately, I did a big festival in 2001 called the Seer Festival, which was really inspired by the Bran Seer. And during that, I kind of realised how important stories are to the Highland community, because sort of everybody knows a bit of a Bran Seer story. And it's like all these different bits, and if we bring them together, that creates a wonderful sense of community, and I found that very inspiring.
Yeah.
And so I did a huge amount of work on that particular festival. I was responsible for so much of it, and including all the money side of it, which was really stressful. Yeah. Having to keep all the records and the accounts and everything. And by the end of it, I was really exhausted. And also, I had to write the speech for the chairman. He was a wonderful chairman. But I tallied up how many people had a platform in that festival to share their creativity. And when I tallied it up, it was 300. And we created an opportunity for 300 people to do their creative thing. And a voice inside me said, "What about me?" I want to do my creative thing. Yeah. And so I saw that the well, it wasn't quite called the UHI. It was in the process of becoming the UHI. But there was a HNC in Fine Art in Inverness at Mid Mills. And although I'd been to Edinburgh Art College years and years before, I never actually graduated, right? Because I was off having fun. Another story for another time. Anyway, I went and I did my HNC, and I just loved it. I loved being in this environment where I was allowed to just explore the arts. Yeah. And it felt like being like at a well. And you could just drink of this water and be nurtured. And so I loved it. And then after a while, I realised they were going to do this other degree course, a UHI degree course in the cultural studies of the Highlands and Islands. And that looked really interesting. And I was very lucky because even though I don't actually have any formal exams, I managed to get a place on that degree course.
and that was sort of the next stage of your development.
Yes,
And
yes.
so you talked about like the organisation and stuff, and it's when you live in small communities, it's obviously the case, unfortunately, for a lot of creative people, they have to do all that side of it to get anything creative to happen.
Yes.
So the fact that you gave that opportunity to 300 people is great, but then I guess what's happened for you is your direction has been much more focused, as you said, on the things you have to offer and the things that you want to show and explore.
Yes.
And so was it at that point when you were doing that degree you thought about how you might share the stories? Is that what
Well,
began to happen?
it sort of grew.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the degree course was 3 year long,
Yeah.
and it was immensely varied. I mean, at that particular time, Donna Heddle was still running it, and a lot of the input from Margaret Bennett was very important part of it.
Yeah.
But we were studying such an incredible range of things, including medieval literature and Gaelic, very, very early Gaelic poetry. So sort of like 6th and 7th century poems.
Wow.
I mean, it was just so inspiring.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
But we also did politics and archaeology and it was a wonderful course.
Yeah.
But by the time we came towards the end, and you had to choose your subject for your dissertation, I had really started to realise that it was the stories that I was passionate about,
Yeah.
and also recognised that they were very fragile. I mean, it's wonderful how the music is no longer in danger.
Yeah.
Like the traditional tunes are now so well known that they are going to survive.
Yes.
But that's not the same with the stories. The stories can get lost. And I sort of had this vision in my head, particularly one night. It was a very wild, windy night. It was a wild and windy night. And I could see in my head it was like the stories were being blown through the trees, and bits were being sort of caught on the branches, on twigs of and they were going to get lost. It was a bit like, like the Clootie Well, where people hang the rags. It was a bit like seeing that. And so I kind of felt I need to collect these, need to collect these stories before they all get lost. But I also, that was inspired by this idea of fabric. So I started collecting bits of fabric that was going to be thrown away. So sort of remnants of fabric.
And so so that connection you made between the stories and the fabric in your head, you sort of began to think that there was a connection between the two, or could be a representation.
Yes.
And so therefore, what you've done is create a series of tapestries that relate to some of the stories and areas of storytelling.
Yes.
Yeah. And what was the first one of those then that you created?
Well, the road to, excuse me, there was a specific road to that. I was very fortunate to know the wonderful Elizabeth Sutherland. Elizabeth Sutherland lived on the Black Isle, and she started Grome House Museum, and she was a wonderful storyteller and story collector, and she'd been collecting stories for sort of 60 odd years. And she was also a wonderful writer. And we'd done a lot of projects together, and we did one particular project which she wrote down 12 Highlands tales, and we produced a book, and I did all the illustrations, and the book was called St. Columba and the Monstrous Worm, with 3 R's. And I did the illustration for the cover of that.
Right.
Well, and the inside. And I gave a copy of the book to my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law had been living in Dubai. Now, women living in Dubai, the wives, they're not allowed to work. They're not allowed to do much, so they all do hobbies. And she took up quilting. And she learnt quilting techniques from the old American tradition. And anyway, so I gave her the copy of the book, and she then gave me a copy. She copied that into fabric.
Ah.
So that was incredibly important.
Yeah,
So I brought that with me. So this is what she made. She is
beautiful.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I I don't know how she did it. But the detail in that is incredible. It's the story of St. Columba meeting on his journey up the Loch Ness, and of course encountering the Loch Ness monster, or the monstrous worm with 3 R's.
Very good. The moment is captured.
And he blesses the monster.
Yeah. And then the monster goes back into the loch.
And the monster feels a sense of peace that he's never felt before, and he goes back into the loch.
Yeah. And he's been there ever since.
Well, occasionally he returns because he's hoping that somebody else will come and bless him. So if you do see the Loch Ness monster, you've got to give him a blessing.
That's good. It's a good tip. Thank you. Okay, so that I can see that, and what you're talking about, that I guess, when we all think about, I guess, our creative output, it's about how you organise, how you communicate, how you sort of, in some ways, make a larger story out of the smaller things that you're inspired by. Yeah. And I can see very much that's effectively what you're doing in making something that has a visual format, but really what's contained within it is a way of telling the stories, a way of communicating the stories. It's really just a signpost to the stories.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's all about making visible something that is invisible.
Yes.
In the hope that will help give people the opportunity to see that this world exists. And become interested in this world, and therefore keep this world alive. It's a bit like, like in Peter Pan, when you have to clap to keep Tinkerbell alive. If we don't tell the stories, they won't survive. And it's the telling of the stories that's so important. Yes, it's great if they're in books, but it's much more important that they're told.
Yes, because you said to me when we were talking before we started that really the stories you want to tell are the ones that you've heard, that someone's actually spoken to you, rather than ones that have been written down.
Exactly, because that tradition, that sense of passing on the story person to person is extraordinarily powerful. I mean, stories have been literally passed on for hundreds and in fact thousands of years.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to think are you aware, or do you seek people out who have those stories, or is it just people come and tell you them because they know that you're interested?
It's a bit kind of serendipitous.
Yes.
Some just, and also what's strange is, I might listen to a story, really enjoy that story, but it's not a story that I'm going to tell, so it kind of drifts by.
Yes.
But other stories will just come,
straight in,
and it's straight there, and it's all there.
Yeah, no, that's fascinating. So there is something for you as a storyteller. It's not you're trying to remember every story. There's the ones that resonate with you, that you have a connection to in some ways. Yeah, that's interesting.
And also, out of respect, for instance, Bob Pegg, of course, who is, very well known and important Highland storyteller, he tells a story of the last wolf of Scotland. So I don't tell that story because that's his story and I wouldn't dream of it.
Yes.
But I tell a different story of the last wolf of Scotland, which came to me from a session I was doing with one of my big quilts, which has got an image on it, and in that image there's a plate of scones on the windowsill, and which is there to illustrate a different part of a different story. But this woman then came and told me the story of the last wolf in Scotland, who was in Port Mahomet, which I hadn't heard before. But when she told me this story, and it involved pancakes, which are on my quilt there.
Yes.
And that's the story I tell.
Okay. So then there was something almost that the image was already there, but a story became associated with it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So I want us to get through all the things we want to talk about. So behind us, we've got 2 examples of story tapestries. Do you want to talk about those?
Yes. So I'm just quickly, I want to reference Brenda because she was just so important in learning the craft of appliqué, which is there's sort of different layers. There's appliqué and then there's quilting. So the appliqué is when you use fabric and you cut it out to make a picture.
Yes.
And Brenda came over and she taught us how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've used that technique. So I want,
Okay.
and she, the quilts behind, I was commissioned by Fèisean to make a quilt or a hanging to tell the story, to illustrate the Highland clearances. So that's that one. And I chose to do it really through the Bran Seer. So the Bran Seer made the prediction that the sheep will chase the people from the land. Men will eat sheep, but sheep will eat men, and the people will be forced to travel to lands as yet unknown. So in this panel here, you can see the life before the sheep came. Then we've got the Manny on Ben Braggy.
Oh, there he is. Yes,
there he
pointing.
Is. And he's brought the sheep in, and he's forcing the people to leave and burning the houses. And there's the people leaving, and that's based on the sculpture outside Helmsdale of the emigrants by Gerald Lang. And there's the boat that many of them left on, that Hector. So that tells that story.
Yeah.
Now, so that was, I had to make that very quickly, and I'm not really very proud of the technical work. I'm not a crafts person. I'm an artist, and But
I think what we're talking about in a way, and this is good for anybody doing a creative endeavour, is that you don't just stay in one lane. You know, you're interested in all sorts of things, and this is beautiful, and there's a lot of work in it. But what's more important is the story that it contains and what it represents.
Yeah.
So.
And I like the way that it kind of connects to things.
Yes.
That you can see now. You can see the Manny on Ben Braggy. You can see the clearance monument. We'd have to go to Nova Scotia or wherever to see the Hector. But I like it as an image. I just feel embarrassed that the skill in isn't so great.
Okay, we'll leave that there because it's not about that really, is it? It's more about the inspiration. That's fine.
So this one,
you
know how the castle, the Inverness Castle, when they were doing it up, they did this wonderful thing, which I really thought was amazing. They invited various artists, they commissioned various artists, and the commission is kind of like, is there something you've always wanted to make?
Yeah. Pretty amazing.
Please, can we have more of them?
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it, because, please, can we have more of those kind of commissions?
Yeah.
Anyway, what I'd always wanted to make was the next part of the story. So the Bran Seer, he'd made this prediction that the people would be forced from the land. But he also said the day will come when the people will return.
Yeah. So
first the sheep, then the deer, but after the black rain, the people will return. So I think that is part of a much bigger story.
Yeah.
Much bigger story. And a story that we have been living through. A story, and certainly, obviously much older than the audience. I remember when I first moved to the Highlands, it is extraordinary. When I was first living in Edinburgh, people were always wanting to give me houses.
Yes.
Would you like this house? Would you not want to live in this house? Come. You can have this house.
That seems a bit extraordinary.
£200.
Gosh.
And because there were so many empty houses, and there wasn't many young people, so they were just. I was young then, and they were just so welcoming and wanting young people.
Yeah.
And there were so many empty houses.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not like that now.
No. But and what you were saying is this is a story of hope. This is a
exactly.
Story,
So those empty houses, people returning. We have lived through this return, but it's not just the fact that people are returning, and it's not even just the fact that culture is returning. It's the fact that vitality is returning, that there is a vitality and confidence.
Yeah.
And that is so amazing and so wonderful and something so important to celebrate.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to do.
That's
I
lovely.
wanted to celebrate
Yeah.
the return of confidence and enjoyment, and that we are allowed to enjoy ourselves.
Brilliant. And in the castle, is this represented then within the castle?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
brilliant.
so. Yeah.
Brilliant.
It's part of something called 360.
Yeah.
And there's lots and lots and lots of things in 360. Lots of different people commissioned, and it's an amazing collection.
Yeah.
Of creative output.
So we don't have too much longer, unfortunately. But I think what's really great about you telling that story, if you think about, for all of you guys in the audience and those watching this, that to get to the point where someone says to you, well, what do you want to make, which is obviously the dream, you have to have had a long time where you do things for other people, where you build up your practice, where you take it seriously, where you've invested the time and energy that you have for years, and then you get to do something like that, which is wonderful, because you kind of said, well, you need more of those things. It would be great if we had more of those things. But the reason you got that is because of the time and the energy and the seriousness with which you take what you do.
Thank
so
you.
that's a great, I think that's a great endorsement of kind of where you started from that point, where you said, well, I've given 300 people the opportunity. What about mine? But you've done that, you've changed that, and you've got those opportunities for yourself. So that's a lovely, I think, way of looking at your journey, I guess, in some respects.
Thank you.
So, was there another thing after that you were talking about, something new that you're working on? Is that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, yes, I'm at the moment preparing for an exhibition of all my story quilts, because this is just a few of them.
Yes.
You've seen some of them on the screen.
Yeah.
So I've never seen them all together, because some hang in different places and so on. But I'm having an exhibition in Edinburgh on the High Street in the Scottish Storytelling Centre. I'm so excited.
That's lovely, yeah.
So from the beginning of April, all through April, and to early in May, all my story quilts will be hung there.
That's brilliant.
And there are many more than I've referred to here today. And you did say about work, and I want to add that I've done a lot of work with different communities.
Yeah.
So I've involved lots of people, because that is very important to me. And so, some of that work will be on as part of that.
Yeah, and as you've said, the sort of these, you've made these and you've collected these stories, but you said they're representative of many other people's stories.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And so, is there something else you're going to show us? That
Well, yes. So it was in process. I'm making. Whoops. I'm making a new little quilt. I found that little quilts are really good.
Yeah.
So I've got a few little quilts, like the and they're really, really handy for when I'm doing sessions in schools, and the children can come and really look at them closely, and they love them.
Yes.
So I'm going to do one, and I'm putting it together at the moment, and it's quite a process, actually. You know, you've got lots and lots of material and an idea for an image, so this one is going to be for the mermaid and Cromarty. The mermaid that actually swims in the Cromarty first and comes right over here.
Yes.
Now, you've got to be very careful. If you see the mermaid, that's wonderful, but don't, please, try and catch it, because if you do, she'll try and drown you.
Oh, well, that's a good message to get out there.
Yeah, exactly.
You can you speak to her or no? Just
yeah, you can speak to her and just, like, tell all your friends you saw the mermaid.
Yes.
But just don't try and catch her.
Okay.
She's too dangerous.
Well, they've been warned, so they know. That's fine. Okay, Lizzie, that's great. Thank you so much for bringing all your work in, and thanks for showing us what you're doing next. And tell us the dates again of your exhibition in Edinburgh again.
So it opens on the 3rd of April in the Storytelling Centre and is on till the 10th of May.
Fantastic. Well, if anyone's in Edinburgh, that'd be well worth checking out. That's great. And you're going to get the chance, obviously, to be there and see all your work in one place.
Well, I'm going to be setting it all up. That's going to be really big. I mean, and also at the moment, what I've got to do is prepare all the information to go with it.
Yes, so that'll be a significant amount of work.
That's a lot of work.
Well, good luck with that, Lizzie. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I've really enjoyed this time talking to you and getting to know more about your creative process. Thank you. To our online audience, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed watching. If you're feeling inspired and are interested in studying creative arts subjects like fashion or textiles or any other subjects we look at, please visit our websites and socials and look out for our next open day or evening events. I'd like to thank our music and sound production students for producing the music during this recording, and the filmmaking students who are doing all the filming. Please do like and share this video and to help us to get more people to watch it, and I look forward to seeing you all for our next video podcast. Until next time, keep creating. Thank you very much.